Case, noun, situation. 1. Countable, a particular situation or a situation of a particular type. In some cases, people have had to wait several weeks for an appointment. The company only dismisses its employees in cases of gross misconduct. It's a classic case, a very typical case of bad planning. See also worst case. 2. The case, singular, case that, the true situation. If that is the case, if the situation described is true, we need more staff. It is simply not the case that prison conditions are improving. 3. Countable, usually singular, a situation that relates to a particular person or thing. In your case, we are prepared to be lenient. I cannot make an exception in your case, for you and not for others. Every application will be decided on a case-by-case basis. Each one will be considered separately. Police investigation. 4. Countable, a matter that is being officially investigated, especially by the police. A murder case, a case of theft. In court. 5. Countable, a question to be decided in court. The case will be heard next week. A court case. To win, lose a case. When does her case come before the court? See also test case. Arguments. 6. Countable, usually singular, case, for, against something. A set of facts or arguments that support one side in a trial, a discussion, etc. The case for the defense, prosecution. Our lawyer didn't think we had a case, had enough good arguments to win a court of law. The case for, against, private education. The report makes out a strong case, gives good arguments for spending more money on hospitals. You will each be given the chance to state your case. Container. 7. Countable, often in compounds. A container or covering used to protect or store things. A container with its contents or the amount that it contains. A pencil case. A jewelry case. A packing case. A large wooden box for packing things in. The museum was full of stuffed animals in the glass cases. A case, 12 bottles of champagne. See also vanity case. 8. Countable, suitcase. Let me carry your case for you. Of disease. 9. Countable, the fact of somebody having a disease or an injury. A person suffering from a disease or an injury. A severe case of typhoid. The most serious cases were treated at the scene of the accident. Person. 10. Countable, a person who needs or is thought to need special treatment or attention. He's a hopeless case. Grammar. 11. Countable, uncountable, the form of a noun, an adjective, or a pronoun in some languages that shows its relationship to another word. The nominative, accusative, genitive case. Latin nouns have case, number, and gender. Extra examples. A strong case exists for adopting a similar system in this country. About 25% of AIDS cases are linked with the sharing of needles. After the exams, the teacher gave all borderline cases a spoken test. As a lawyer, he was involved in high-profile divorce cases. Carter was the senior case officer on the investigation. Complaints are dealt with on a case-by-case basis. Except in a few rare cases, bee stings are not dangerous. 4 officers are investigating the case. He brought a case challenging the legality of the war. He brought a case to the Supreme Court. He had a bad case of appendicitis. He highlighted the case of Harry Farr, 25, who was executed for cowardice in 1916. He highlighted the case of Harry Farr, who was executed in 1916. He put the binoculars back in their carrying case. He was looking through some homicide case files. He was so clearly innocent, the case should never have gone to court. I agree with him, but don't you think he slightly overstates the case? I thought she argued her case very well. In Polish, the verb to be takes the instrumental case. In her case, she failed the exam because she wasn't well. Is there a case against wearing school uniforms? It remains the case that not enough graduates are going into teaching. It was a simple case of mistaken identity. Let's consider the case of a dealer trying to make a sale. Many professions feel they deserve higher pay, and nurses are a case in point. Medical students study the case histories of many patients. No lawyer would take his case. Our lawyer didn't think we had a case. She kept all her trophies in a display case. The Department of Health reported 5 human cases of bird flu. The case against her collapsed when a key witness was proved to have lied. The case against her was very weak. The case came before Judge Harris in the Crown Court. The case hinged on the evidence of the only witness to the killing. The case raises a number of issues. The case was settled out of court. The case was thrown out for lack of evidence. The case will be heard in a higher court. The committee has full powers to deal with any cases of malpractice that arise. The defendant requested more time to prepare his case. The disciplinary committee considered the merits of his case before finding him. The judge ruled that the defendant had no case to answer, as the evidence had been discredited. The jury are required to be unanimous in death penalty cases. The local MP has taken up the case of the family of 6 who have been left homeless. The prosecution decided to drop the case. The room was full of stuffed animals in class cases. The teacher must judge each case according to its merits. The union has taken up the case of the suspended worker. The victim decided to bring a case of rape against him. There have been documented cases of officials accepting bribes. There have been no confirmed cases of BSE in the US. There is a good prima facie case for believing what she says. They never solved the Jones murder case. This is a test case which will influence what other judges decide. This was the hardest case she has handled since becoming a lawyer. 2 million new cases of hypertension are diagnosed each year. What evidence do you have to support your case? What is the current suburb from? He presents an unanswerable case for selection in the team. You could make out a case for changing our teaching methods. A case against wearing business attire. A case of animal cruelty. A case study of an Amazonian tribe. A compensation case involving thousands of workers. A gold watch in a presentation case. A severe case of food poisoning. Cases alleging violations of international law. The evidence in the case. The notorious case of the bottle strangler. He claims there has never been a case of food poisoning at his restaurant. He had contracted a severe case of pneumonia. I cannot make an exception in your case. I left my cases at the hotel and set off to meet him. In this case, we are prepared to be lenient. It's a classic case of bad planning. Over 500,000 cases of cholera were reported in 1991. Police believe it is a simple case of theft. She lost the case and was ordered to pay legal fees. She wanted to pack her case and leave immediately. Take the case of Henry Farr, 25, executed for cowardice in 1916. The book is about the notorious case of the Lindbergh kidnapping. The new evidence weakened the case for the defense. The report makes out a strong case for spending more money on hospitals. The winner will receive a case of champagne. They put their cases in the boot and drove off. A packing case. The case for the defense. Prosecution.